Welcome back. Welcome back. If you enjoy this sort of content, please leave a like, so that way I'll know that this is something I should totally keep doing. Genesis chapter 3. The serpent's deception and the man's shameful fall. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast in the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, You shall surely not die. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her he did eat. And the eyes of them were both opened, and they knew they were both naked. And they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking into the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. God questions Adam and Eve. And the Lord God called unto Adam, and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told you thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree, whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. He's not taking personal responsibility here. This is truly the fall of man. You shouldn't throw your companion under the bus, my guy. And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is it that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. So they're both doing this. They're just passing the buck, you know? Granted, it's the serpent's fucking fault, but you know. Personal responsibility. The serpent is cursed. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. The punishment God promises to mankind. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be unto thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. And unto Adam he said, Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake, and sorrow, and shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat bread, thou shalt return unto the ground, for out of it wast thou taken, and unto dust thou shalt return. Which of the two do you think got the worst deal, honestly? And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord God make coats of skins and clothe them. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil, and now, lest he put forth his hands and take also of the tree of life and eat, and live forever. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. Well, you have knowledge now, but, we don't need you to be like divine or anything, so get out of our neighborhood. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every which way to keep the way of the tree of life. We're going to chapter 4 now. Cain and Abel. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived, and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was the keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So if Cain was a tiller of the ground, that means the curse more so passed on to him than his brother. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of the flock and of the fat thereof. And Lord had a respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and his offering he had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So Cain murders Abel. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. The Lord places a curse upon Cain. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I thy brother's keeper? Cain is sassy. And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath thou opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. God was really trying to hammer home how fucked this was. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is too great than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord saith unto him, Therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken upon him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begot Mehujael, and Mehujael begot Methuselah, and Methuselah begot Lamech. If I got any of those names wrong, I mean, I got a whole genealogy ahead of me, so you're going to have to forgive me, please. Lamech and his 2 wives. And Lamech took upon himself 2 wives. The name of the one was Adah, and the name of the other was Zillah. And Adah bare Jabal. He was the father of such as dwell in the tents and of such as have cattle. So he was a rancher. And his brother's name was Jubal, and he was the father of such as handle the harp and the organ. So he was Alexa, what is the class in D&D that plays instruments?
In Dungeons and Dragons, the class that plays instruments is called a bard.
And Zillah, she also bare Tubal, Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron, and the sister of Tubal Cain was Naamah. And Namech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my words, ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged 7-fold, truly Lamech 70 and 7-fold. So if anyone kills these folks, they're really screwed. So if you're going to kill people, know who you're going to kill. Because as the generations continue, they multiplied even greater. So you kill the wrong motherfucker and you're really screwed. It's like breaking 100,000 mirrors. Really, it's just like further of a push not to kill your fellow man, because you don't know which one is the jackpot of your fucked. Excuse my language. Births of Seth and Enos. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For God said, she hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And so Seth to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. And then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. The next chapter is genealogies. I will save that for when I'm fresher. We now have 2 main tribes, so this is a good place to stop. If you like this content, please leave a like. Please subscribe. Give me a sign that I should continue this type of work, because I enjoy it. It is difficult, but I do enjoy it, and I would like to do more. So please encourage me to do so with a like. Thank you. Thank you for watching.